Hello there and welcome. It's Yvonne here from Women's Fitness Adventures. How's it going today? I have a story to tell you about something that happened on the weekend, about how it literally ties into everything that we do here at Women's Fitness Adventures as well. So if you don't know me, I'm Yvonne. I'm the founder and CEO of Women's Fitness Adventures. We've been around for about 12 years, almost 12 years, teaching, training, and taking women on hiking adventures all over Australia and the world. And next week, I'm heading off to Morocco. So that will be very exciting. And I can't wait to share my photos and stories with you there. But tonight's topic is about, it is about our fitness. It is about sisterhood. It is about stories we tell ourselves. There's a whole lot wrapped up in this. So stay with me to the end. Add your comments because I think what I'm going to talk about will resonate. I know that we have inside our community, our member community, we have some experts in the space that might want to comment as well. But I know from my story, and that's how it's weaved in with the entire story of Women's Fitness Adventures, that the stories I share resonate with everyone. And if it resonates with you, then please, I want to hear. So on Saturday, so I'm 59. On Saturday, over the last week, I was having some conversations with myself and with some friends about all the clothes that I have in my wardrobe. And I have a great friend, a business colleague, and also a mentor, a member here at Women's Fitness Adventures, Fiona, who is a fashion stylist. And Fiona has helped me and many of our members and many women in the over 40 space claim their personal style. So I've had Fiona around for a long time, and Fiona helps me shop and helps me choose what clothes work for me, because I didn't want to be I got into this rut when I was stay-at-home mum where I would wear just my shorts and t-shirt all the time. And then when I was hiking, I was wearing my shorts and t-shirt all the time, different set. So I found that I was having this uniform and I didn't want to do that anymore. So Fiona just magically entered my world one day, and we had this conversation, and now Fiona's taught me how to shop for my style. I'm not a big shopper, and how to feel comfortable in the clothes I'm in. So anyway, over the years, I've been gathering my wardrobe and my wardrobe's full. I've one side is hiking clothes, the other side is all my other clothes. And over the course of the past couple of years, I'm in that age, if anyone's in that age, where your body starts to change. And I know I've had this conversation with many of our members in the last couple of months, where our bodies start to change for all sorts of reasons, hormonal reasons, lifestyle reasons, stress reasons, all those sorts of things. And so enter another member and business colleague who's also in this space is Angela Council, who specializes in menopause for women with her Embrace program. But it's a really hard line to, and I'm not selling anything tonight. I just mentioned those two women because they're important in my world. It's a really hard thing to accept, and it's all these transitions that happen in life, that we're not the person that we were maybe yesterday or a few years ago. So I finally made peace with the fact that my shape had changed. So over the past week, I've been putting things in bags, big bags, that are going to be given to friends, or clothes in bags, or given to charity, or given to my daughter to pass around to her friends. So I've been putting things in bags and thinking, I've never been one to think I'll fit back into that at one stage, because that's just not my style. And how we all look and feel about ourselves is a relative thing. So you might be looking at me going, what's she talking about? But everything is a relative thing. So anyway, I finally made peace that, I'm not going to get back to that waist I had before, and I'm not going to be that shape and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's irrelevant. So I took myself off to the local Westfield by myself on a Saturday morning with the intention of buying some clothes. And the salesperson in the store, I knew from Fiona, I knew what I was looking for. I knew what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and what to kind of go for and what to stay away from. But I'm not tall. I'm 5'2". So to buy things for my height meant you either had to hang around in the petite section or you had to get things altered. And to find an alterationist or whatever they're called, can tell how often I do it, is not really an easy thing. And then that starts to add up. So anyway, I was in the country road section of the Westfield, and I said to the woman, she said, "Can I help you?" I tried on 12 different things and in the change room, and there was not one. I pulled out a few and went, yeah, maybe. Let me go see if there's another size, because there's no one there to help you either. So this was inside Maya. And so I've come out of the change room. I left half on the more than half of these 12 things on the rack, and I had 3 things in my hand. And I wandered over to the country road / Trenery, sportscraft, that kind of space, and was just holding up things. And the lady who worked there, the salesperson, came to me and she said, "Can I help you?" I went, "Oh, hallelujah. Finally, someone who can help me." I said, "Yes." I said, "Look, I've finally made peace with the changes that are happening to me. Um, and, nothing fits in my wardrobe. I don't think it's going to fit again. So I'm kind of here to do a bit of a clean slate." And she went, "Oh, you know what? This was 10 a.m. You're the third woman of our age," because she was roughly my age, "that has come in and said that to me today." I went, "Wow, okay." A lot of us might think it but never say it. But here I am, I'm the third person today that said that. So she was wonderful. I found out that Country Road have this secret change room in the middle of Maya, which makes all the difference as well. And so I she was there helping me away, with everything. And I said, "Look, I need some non-ironable things because I travel a lot." And she got asking what I did, and I said, "Look, I travel for work," and she asked me what my work was. And then here is it. This is the thing. She said to me, so she would have been my height, my age, and she said to me, and beautifully dressed, said to me, "But at least you're fit and you're active. I don't have that." And then I thought, you know what? That is it. It doesn't matter that I'm not the shape I was before. And if you have this story, if this is resonating with you, give me a thumbs up, give me a love, give me a just something to know that I'm on the right track, because I can't be the only woman that feels this way. So she said, "At least you're fit and at least you are strong." And you know what? I just came away from that conversation going, you know what? All those things I've done, all those things I teach, all those things I say, it doesn't matter that I'm not that person I was in terms of the physical appearance a few months ago. It matters that I am fit and that I am strong and that I can move freely through the world. That to me was just in one simple sentence, the impact that she had was so, so important. And I think for all of us, whether we're transitioning from, full-time work to part-time to retirement, from being a parent to being an empty nester, from, peri to menopause to post-menopause, whatever that space is, and everyone's trying to cash in on that, to, um, you know, grandparent to you know, life after separation or divorce or widow or whatever it is that the central thing that comes from all of that is that we need to have our physical strength. So it doesn't really matter whether I can go fast or whether I can go slow, but what really matters is that I can be strong and that I have the freedoms to move around. And that, as I've always said, ever since I started Women's Fitness Adventures, all of almost those 12 years ago, was if we have our fitness, if we have that ability to make choices about how we move through the world, then we also have our freedom. So for her, looking at me was, "At least you're fit." And for me, looking at her going, "Thank goodness that you've been able to help me in so many ways, more ways than you will know." So, there's lots of things in our life that we don't have a choice over. We don't have a choice around or control over so many things around us. And sometimes the changes to our body we don't have control over. A lot we do. We can choose to move or not. We can choose to eat well or not. We can choose to have, whatever vice it is or not. But some of the things we can't control. We can't control aging. We can't control, the weather. We can't control, the behavior of someone else. But what we can control is we can control our own fitness. We can control our own strength and we can control our own independence. And we may have to be strong, and it might be scary, and it might be new, and we might get uncomfortable, and we might think, oh, this is just shit, and I don't want to do this anymore. But when we can control these things, I assure you, coming out on the other side is really, really amazing. Christine says, I just want to check in with everyone because we've got a few here. So hello, Leanne. Hello, Kathleen. A couple of adventurers coming up too. Hello, Alethea, Sharon, Barbara, Linda, Christine. And Christine says, that's my core goal, to be fit enough and strong enough to continue to live my current lifestyle, which I love. And I did see a post from Christine. And if anyone doesn't know Christine, she decided to just hitch up a caravan and drive around Australia and does it all solo, which is just fantastic and connects in with the community wherever she is. So I also want to share a story about someone who started on their hiking journey. She's going to retire in a couple of years, and she knew that if she started her journey now, that when she got to that transition point in her life, that she would have that infrastructure set up around her. Because let's face it, when we transition from one thing to another, those structures that supported us are no longer there. So we need to kind of build some things around us that help make that transition a whole lot easier. And the same thing is when we're starting out with our fitness, or we're moving to the next level of our fitness, or we're wanting to choose a hike that is a higher level of fitness again. And so one of the stories she had, so a new member came along to a hike training session that she's booked on. And, you know, when you first start out anything, it is really new, and you feel that you are the only new person, and you might not know everything, and how comfortable is it to ask questions, and you know, how long do you go for before you speak up and go, this is like getting tough, or you know, what do I do about this? You don't know what you don't know. So I have all been in that driver's seat, all been in that beginner's seat at some point. So we're hiking along, and you know, for her it was hot conditions. It was probably the longest distance she'd hiked in a while, and understanding for all of us, and especially here in Queensland, in the last couple of days, summer has just hit. It's like 29, 30 degrees now, and we're out hiking, and so we're getting used to tolerating that weather again. Because here's a tip: if you can hike in hot weather, you can hike anywhere in the world, anytime. Absolutely guarantee you that. So we're hiking along, and we finished the hike. Everyone was great. We all had a great time. And I messaged her afterwards and said, how you going? How you feeling? Have you put your feet up today? Have you hydrated? You know, all those sorts of things. And we had an action plan for her to keep moving forward in her fitness and using the lessons. And this is for all of us. Every time we go on a hike, we spoke about benchmarking last week, using the lessons that we learn every single time. Today, for all of our regular hikers on a Monday, it was, summer's here. The lesson is I need to hydrate. I need to check my water bladder. I need to make sure that I'm not dehydrated, because blisters can come from that, all sorts of things. That's another story. But in her text message back to me, she said, thanks to everyone for making me so welcome. Thanks for everyone for not judging me for being the slowest. Thanks to everyone for, I could feel their support in willing me to be successful. And I thought about that for a long time, and it ties in with the shopping story as well, because for me to say, you know, I've finally admitted this, and the woman to say, you know, there's two other women who have come before you today to say the same thing, is just to share that vulnerability. And that vulnerability is something that happens inside the Women's Fitness Adventures community all the time. And I know most of you watching are members, and if you're not a member, this might be new news to you, but I know our members, this is what it means. And everyone, I got so many thumbs up and love when they're sharing the story of, you know, we may not be who we looked like before, but we are strong. But you know, in our circle inside Women's Fitness Adventures, and another one of the many reasons that I created it was that we're not invisible. Women over 40, over 50, if we're, you know, not contributing to the GDP, or we're not doing this or not doing that, we're not invisible. We are there to be seen. We have wisdom to share, but we need to make sure that we are strong and we are healthy, and we have that freedom to move through the world to be able to share that wisdom and not just box it up from whatever transition we might make. But what we were talking about this morning was preparedness for a hike. And so we have this, whatever our shape is, and if you look across our entire community, the hundreds and hundreds of women that belong to our adventure, and the thousands, or our adventure community, and the thousands of women that we've taken on hikes all over the world over the 11 years. We're all different shapes, we're all different sizes, we're all different ages, we all come from different backgrounds, but we all have this connection, which is what we were talking about this morning, of being part of almost like a sisterhood, um, without, without knowing the intricacies of everybody's life, but we're there to be that support if someone needs it, to be that cheerleader if someone else needs it, to walk beside someone if they need it, or to walk in front or behind and lead the way or follow along, and gather the life pieces sometimes, to have that person to talk to have that confident, to have, um, as to share as little or as much knowledge as you need to. But how does that then translate to being hike ready? Because what it means is that, because there is, as our new hiker said, that willingness of everyone to support you, that when you go on an adventure, when you start preparing for an adventure, because we teach you, we take you, we train you, and we take you, that you have that willingness of everybody wanting you to be successful. And that's where the sisterhood comes in. And that's what the sisterhood came from at the store the other day as well, when she said, "You're the third person, but at least you're fit." And that it was a big wake up call to her as well, I think, in that I can keep moving. I have those choices. I have that freedom. So, coming back to being adventure ready, coming back to whatever age we are, whatever size we are, whatever shape we are, you know, being taught the skills and the knowledge to move freely through the world. We were doing our stretches today, and we get down and we do a low squat in our stretches. When we teach that in our training, we don't train because we know how to do something. We train in our hike training, we train in our classes so that we can learn how to do something, or how to do something better, or how to do something faster, or how to do something more difficult or more challenging. We don't have to know what to do. If we knew what to do, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing, we'd be on another thing. So teaching the skills and the knowledge to make us safe, capable, confident hikers to take on whatever challenge we want, but also to be safe, capable women to take on whatever we want to do. And to train not only in the fitness, but in our strength and in our mindset as well. And then to take adventures that will test us and that will transform us as well. And I hear the stories every week, and I don't shout out enough about the stories. And if any member wants to, I know we've got a couple in here who are sharing their stories soon, which will be on the website. But if anyone wants to share their story, your stories are inspirational. There are um, many women out there who feel the same way we do, but won't take action. I can talk till the cows come home, but if it's someone within our community, someone just like them who's done it, then it makes all the difference. So, there's a lot that I've packed in here about my personal story, and we can't change our biology. We we can say things like, and I know people in my world that have said, "Well, I've turned 50 now, and that's not what a 50-year-old does. They don't do that sort of stuff. Shouldn't you be slowing down? Aren't you going to wear out your joints? Aren't you going to do this? Aren't you going to do that?" And it gets my back up. They know they've gone fishing, but I try to not now say anything, because I have a choice. I can sit on the couch, I can skirt around the edges, or I can jump in, literally boots and all, and end up in the very same place. Or I can, and I know where I would rather be. I would rather be out there strong and healthy and active, exploring, seeing, and doing the world, than sitting on the couch and scrolling through this, doing the world as well. So, a lot is tied up in my little visit to the Westfield on the weekend. And I know that without the support of those couple of women, and there's lots of other women in my world as well, but the thing is that we can all be the best version of ourselves. We can be the best with our style. We can be, if that's your thing, we can be the best with our the changes that happen to our body, and getting really clear in our head that we can do things. We may be slower, we may be faster, we may be older, we may be wiser, but we can still do those things. We may need more recovery time, and that we can be strong as well, and someone can teach us how to be strong. We were talking when we were doing our final stretches today of squatting, and when I was recently in Turkey, we were at one of the mosques, the Blue Mosque in uh, what's the capital of Turkey? It's not Jerusalem. Where was I? Constantinople, Istanbul, and the song, remember? And there was a huge lineup for the female toilets, and there was some squat toilets there, and there was no line for the squat toilets. Absolutely no line, because many women don't know how to squat or know how to get up, especially if you don't want to touch anywhere in the cubicle. But it makes it so much faster. Just simple things like that. Even getting up, I've had stories of women getting up from a normal toilet is so much better when you are stronger. So, just so much going on. So we can't reverse biology. We can't, control a lot of the things that happen to us. But on the flip side, we can control a lot of things that happen to us. We can control how we see ourselves, and I think I spoke about this a while ago, which in turn affects how others see us as well. But on the trails, and we've been on the trails, girls, for 12 years now. The novelty when we started, we're a different story. We are fit, we are strong, and we are ready for adventure. And no one will get in our way when we say to people, oh, we're hiking here, there, and there, and there, and there, and we do this regularly. It is literally a revelation to a lot of people on the trail. So if you are watching this, if you are thinking, I want a piece of that, I want to be on adventure, I want this, I want that, the website and our members, someone said today, the adventures are selling out really quickly, and they are. We as women, we want that. We need that goal. We need that North Star. We need that commitment to ourselves. And, it's a year ago now since I ran the Berlin Marathon. And I was watching it on TV last night, and I said to my family, I am so glad that I ran that last year. It was just an unbelievable experience. But the reason I'm so glad that I ran it last year was I couldn't do that now. I took advantage of an opportunity when it presented itself to me, and that opportunity has now passed. I most likely won't run another marathon. My life is full with other things. I've run 2, and that's more than plenty for my lifetime. But I took the opportunity to do something when it was presented to me, because I knew that I had time and space to fit that in. And that is my kind of mantra, is that, can I do that now? Could I do that now? Yes, I can. Then why not? Because that opportunity, that time, that point in time, that moment may not present itself again. So I really encourage you to look at that whole story through the lens of your own life, the conversations you're having with the self, what we're thinking, who we think we are, who we don't think we are, but really important that your freedom, that your movement is at the basis of absolutely everything in there. Now, if anyone wants links to Fiona or to Angela, I'm happy to put them in here later. Just comment. But it was not about promoting them. It was about saying that I have these people in my team that help me become, the whole person that I am. But at the core of it is accepting in here for all of us that we do need to be strong. We need to be strong if we want to keep our freedom and we want to keep our independence. Translates up to the mind too. So that's it from me for today. So thank you for tuning in. I will have another one next week here from the desk. So if you have questions, please pop them below, but I'll catch you next time. Thanks.